Okay, right, so let's start. One of the issues which I've been struggling with for quite some time is how to have effective online worksheets for children. Because children need a very simple system for doing things online, and they also need to be able to write online. You know, most of the online systems they use typing. Well, that's fine as an option, but children in the early stages, they really need to actually be able to write on the screen. And they also need to be able to write on any screen. You know, they need to be able to write on a computer, on an iPhone or whatever. And so I've been looking for systems which can make that possible. I wanted children to be able to, you know, for example, the teacher could set a worksheet. The children can write on the worksheet or draw on the worksheet, and then the teacher can see what they've written and correct it, and the children can see the correction. That was the system which I was searching for, and I got frustrated because I searched everywhere for it, and you know, I couldn't find anything like that. But eventually I found some engineers who can do that. And so that system is going to be launched very soon, and I'll give a short demonstration. This is not finished yet, but you can get an idea of what's coming. In this system, the teacher or the school has an account. The children don't need to have an account. They just use the system on their normal browser. And when the teacher goes into their account, they see, if they have no worksheets, they see a blank page like this. And then they add a worksheet, okay? And they click on here, add a worksheet, and they come to this page and they upload the worksheet. The worksheet can be a PDF, a JPEG file, almost any type of file. And it can be something you have made yourself, or it can be something which I have made. I've made about 2,000 worksheets for this system to support New Finding Out and to support Songs and Games Phonics. And these will be available as soon as this system is available. This is for children to use at home, or you can use them in the class, or you can use them with an interactive whiteboard if you'd like to. So if you look at this, this screen, you've got a share button. This means that if you click on share, you will get a link which you can share with the children. You can preview, you can check that your worksheet is as you want it, or you can delete the worksheet. If you click on share, this is what you get. And you can this button means you share it, you can share it directly to a Google Classroom if you have the Google Classroom set up, or you can just copy the link physically, and then you can send that link to your class. However you communicate with the class. If it's not through a Google Classroom, you can do it through line, through email, through whatever, and you send them the link. And this is what the child will see. This is an example of, as I said, I've done about 2,000 worksheets which go right through the course to support all the levels and also to support Songs and Games Phonics. And this is an example of a worksheet. And so a child will see this worksheet, and at the top of the worksheet, you will see some very few things in the menu. So it's very simple for the child. This means that they draw on the screen. This means they erase. And this means that they type on the screen. This means they make the screen bigger or smaller, but you don't, it's these three are the kind of tools they need. So let me just show you a demonstration of this. I choose a color. Now, if they don't like it, if they make a mistake, they can erase it. If you're teaching older children or older students or teenagers or adults, you may want them to type on a worksheet, not write. And this is typing. They can choose anywhere on a page to type. So many systems only have set places where you can type. In this case, you can click anywhere on the page and type, and that's it. And then the children save the worksheet. They click on save. And when they save, the teacher can see what they've written and can comment and can write on the page or anything and send it back to the child, and the child can see it. And they can log into their site at any time. All of the instructions will be in Japanese for both the child and, furigana, so both children and adults can read it. This just hasn't been finished yet, so it'll be very easy for the children to use. That is the new system, and you can use it for, as I said, you can make your own worksheets, or you can use the ones that I've made. And I'm gradually building up a library of worksheets which you can use with a range of books. The system is free as long as you have up to 3 active worksheets at one time. Schools may want to have a library of stuff in there, in which case they need to pay a monthly fee for that. There's a lot of actual costs involved in this, which need to somehow be covered. That is the system. Okay, now this is the download site. If you go to the download site, this is all free downloads and resources for teachers. If you click on one of these images, you should go to another page. Yeah, and so this is an example of the Finding Out support page. And within this, there are many downloads. So, for example, there are online. Let me look at some of these games in a minute. First, I will just give you an overview. There's online games. There are physical downloads, which are the syllabus, sample units, teachers' books, audio files, small flashcards, and so on. Right. Okay. If you click on the games section of the download site, you'll go to this page, and on this page you'll see all kinds of online games. This is one of the most basic things for younger learners. This is just coloring. So the children can choose pictures through a kind of library of color. Let's say they choose this picture. They can choose like a color and a size of pencil, and they can draw it on here. Or they might choose another color, a different size of picture, and so on. They can draw pictures, and of course, all of these things have words and pictures for them to color. This is obviously for the younger children, but it's a lot of fun for that age group. Let me just go back and give you a different demonstration. A memory game. There are memory games. This is also this is book 1 of Finding Out, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5. I wonder, let's choose something a bit more difficult. Within this, you'll say, within any book, you'll see lots and lots of memory games. And it just continues like that. So there is about, it reaches about 30 cards on a page, and the knowledge is accumulated. So the cards from the previous level are always included in the next level. So the children learn as they're playing. And of course, some of those are, this is level 4. So by the stage of level 4, they're able to read quite difficult words. But the memory games are right from level 1. It would be something very, very simple. So they could be learning anchor words, or they could be learning something like this. that is the sort of thing. These are the memory games, and children can use them at home, or they can use them in class, or they can use them wherever. Let's try an alien adventure game. Any level doesn't really matter. Let's try mealtime. I have to spell egg. The game kind of powers they play. You should avoid that. They only have a certain you get the idea. Those are the games which children can play at home, in class, if you want to, wherever. Other kinds of materials available. One person's materials who I want to strongly recommend that support finding out are David Lisgo's materials. Now, these are not free downloads. These are available for sale. Now, David Lisgo is a teacher in Kagoshima who's developed some wonderful kind of homemade materials, which are really popular among teachers in Japan. If you haven't used them, they're well worth teaching. And not only are they really good materials, but they last a long time. They're very well made. I have some games by David Lisgo, which I've had for nearly 20 years, and I can still use them if I want to. I've retired from teaching now, but I would if I could. And he's made blending a hand discs and workbooks, which probably many of you will be very well aware of. And there are also many games, Go Fish games, board games, pairs games. My personal favorite is the Switch It games, which I use extensively at the Finding Out 1 level, especially. Higher levels, I tend to use the Go Fish games and that kind of thing more. But at the lower levels, I always use lots and lots of Switch It games. And he has Switch It games for every kind of stage of phonics, which is great. So if you've got a particular problem which you find the children have, you can use a Switch It game to address that problem. These games need to be bought directly from David. If you go to the ETJ Book Service site, you will see the link to where you can contact him and buy the books from him. Okay. So other kinds of supplementary materials. There are, as I said, there are lots of things for like parents' research reports and parents' progress reports, and also assessments and certificates and all of that kind of thing. There are also some other things I'd like to introduce. First of all, the readers. These readers have been written by Greg Crawford, who has a school in Wakayama, and who also is one of the owners of Fun Kids English. And these readers go sort of hand in hand with Finding Out. They can be used independently, of course. They follow the Finding Out syllabus. There are 4 levels which go with the first 4 levels of Finding Out. And this will give you an idea of the kind of materials. This is an example from book 1. So in book 1, of course, in Finding Out, the emphasis is on phonics, and so the readers reflect that. Each reader has 20 stories to go with the course, and so this is when the children are learning the phonic combinations R and ow. So the children will read things like Art is Bart's pal and Bart is Art's pal, and Art is a farm dog and Bart is a farm dog too. The OO would have been in, they already know that. So you can see that the same phonic patterns are used many, many times, which is great because so many readers, there's only a small bit of reading there to do. and they don't see the same pattern in many different words. I think the great thing about Greg's books is that the children come across this in so many different words within one short story, and the short story is substantial. It's got a lot of meat to it. It's not just a few words on a page with a picture. They're really great. And this is an example of level 2. Level 2, you can see this is story 8 of level 2. So you can get an idea of what the children are able to read. This is book 2 of Finding Out, and it's just before the middle of book 2. And you can see that you got, hello, I'm Yana, I'm from America, I live in Long Beach, I'm 11, I like pasta, I like kiwi too, I have an umbrella, it's yellow, green, and pink. This is the kind of thing which children at this level can read. Book 3, this is a reader book, so 7 out of 20 readers. So again, it's just before the middle point of book 3. This is Papa Bear. Today he's fishing. Papa Bear likes fishing. He's sitting and he has 3 fish in the bucket. Papa Bear goes fishing on Saturdays. So you can see this is the kind of thing that they're able to read. And these readers really reinforce that. Book 4, Timmy wants to go fishing in Hawaii. His sister wants to go sailing in Hawaii. His mother wants to go shopping in Hawaii. And Timmy's father wants to go swimming in Hawaii. So they got, in this case, they're doing the pattern of wants to do something, which is one of the patterns from book 4. So the children are able to read and write these kind of patterns at this stage. So these readers are really great, especially because there's so much substance in them. There's so much for children to do, which I find really great. Okay. Let me tell you one last kind of supplement for you finding out. While I'm about it, I've just seen a question: do the cards work on iPads? Do the card games, the online games, work on iPads? Yes, they do. They work on iPhones too, but they work on all mobile devices. So I think iPad is better than iPhone because you've got more screen, more space. I'll come back to those questions in a bit after looking at these cards. These are my own personal favorite type of card. I like to use cards which are for phonics, which are also playing cards, normal packs of playing cards, with ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, a normal pack of playing cards. One of the reasons for that is because with the same pack, the children can play many different types of games. They can play games like Bawanuki, they can play Snap, they can play all kinds of games, and the children can choose the games they want to play. So this is an example. This is in level 1. The children are learning the anchor words like apple and gorilla. And you notice that each of them is a normal playing card. So they can play any kind of game. And when they play the card, they say what it is. Or in some games, when they make a pair, they say what it is. Or in other games, when they play a trick, they say what it is. Or they don't say what it is. They say like a word beginning with that letter. For example, they might say a different word. And the game might be that you can't repeat a word which another child has already said. And so it really stretches their ability. This is at the Phonics 1 level. Phonics 2 level is with double letter sounds like our house and our car. And the same applies. They can either read it, they can make a word with it, they can make a sentence with it, whatever you're aiming at. But as they play, and so they just enjoy playing. I have had some classes who want to do almost nothing else, and it's great, because they're really into it, and they teach each other card games, but as they're playing, they're always practicing. They're always practicing the phonics. It's really successful. The third stage is phonics families. So in this case, this is all the 10s, 10 hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. They each have a word from the same phonics family. So in this case, it's snow, yellow, arrow, window. So each number would be for a different phonics family. And phonics families 1 is for quite standard basic phonics families. And then phonics 2 is a little bit different. They're not more difficult necessarily, but just a bit less standard. So panda, koala, banana, and camera. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to answer some questions if I can. Right. Do the online worksheets have sound? No, they don't. That is not. They're not for listening. They're for writing. Is there a price for the online worksheets? Yes. If you have up to 3 active worksheets at one time that you're using with the children, there's no fee. It's free. If you want to have more than that, because you can have a library of worksheets within that system, then the fee is 700 yen per month, and that's for schools. Can you mute the music with the online games? Yes, you can. How do you balance visual gameplay with actual learning with the online games? Well, to be honest, with the online games, once the children know how to play, they're learning all the time because they're practicing all the time. There is no, it's totally integrated. I don't think there's any really gameplay when they're not actually using English, which is ideal. It's the same for games in the classroom, physical games. The best games are games where there's nothing happening between the language practice, because it's all language practice and it's all fun. The live worksheet, right, I think is the system that we use. Yes, you can make your own. It's no problem. It's a make your own worksheet system. You can upload any, for the online worksheets, you can upload any worksheet. You can upload it, and the format, it can't be a whole book. I think there's a limit of 15 pages at a time. That may, it's almost ready, but it's not quite ready. There's a it works now perfectly in Google Chrome, but it's not working fully in Safari yet. That still has to be fixed. And for Japan, it has to work in Safari. And also the Japanese language hasn't been added yet. But apart from those couple of things, it's working. So I don't know exactly when it'll be finished, but when it is, I'll make an announcement. And as I said, you'll be able to upload any worksheet as long as there's no copyright issues. You can't, obviously, have to be careful about copyright. And so you can use it for teaching adults, for teaching anybody really. Originally, I developed it for finding out, but after getting into it, I realized that, well, let's make it available for everything, really. So let's just make it generally possible for everybody to do it. And so that was but at the same time, I've made 2,000 worksheets to support my own books, and also some other people are beginning to develop other worksheets. But this is a totally new system. I'm sure there'll be many more worksheets available, and it'll all be available on the download site. They haven't been uploaded yet because the system's not finished yet. But as soon as the system is finished, those worksheets will be available on the download site. Is there a feature where teachers can use other teachers' worksheets? That's an interesting idea. That would be something which would be good to develop. I expect we can develop that. That would be a very good idea. Yeah, I haven't got that far yet, so perhaps we'll find a way to do that. I have to find the right, way to host it. Okay, so yes, it could build a huge pool of shared resources. Yes, I think that would be a very good thing to do. So, okay, so thank you very much.